Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dota 2 Asia Championship. We're in the America Qualifier right now. 4 teams enter this qualifier. Only one leaves and earns that paid trip to China with guaranteed prize money coming their way. At this point, I'm dying here. At this point, it's pretty much a mini international. We've got over $1 million in prizes. And, well, Cloud9 eHug, winner of this, moves on to play Fire. With that said, I'm LD. I'm joined here by Merlini, and I think I'm actually dying.
Well, eHug will do a first pick Juggernaut. Let's see how Cloud9 choose to handle it. And, of course, this will be a new Cloud9. EE still in the drafter slot. Fada probably still playing that mid-roll. Bone7 in the off lane. But we see 2 new supports. Big Daddy No Tail and Misery, the outcast from Secret. We'll see how these players mesh. And a first phase pick Lion. That is cool.
Thanks for the bailout, Ben. I'm struggling here, guys. But yeah, this is the new eHug. Of course, they had the old roster with Jiggle Billy and friends, but this is Infinity +4. They went undefeated in Starladder America in the group stage for Season 11, and they fell short in the playoffs. They ended up beating Root 2-1, but then they dropped down in the next round. They lost to Root again. That time they ended up losing them 2-0, so they didn't qualify for the LAN finals. They've had good results, though. They went 7-0, beating out the Lakes of Fire in that group stage, and we'll have to see if they can take it one step further. They definitely have their hands full, like you said, Ben, with the new Cloud9 roster. And, yeah, the Lion pick, it's become really popular, especially in China lately. I've seen teams first picking it, even, and I guess the big change is just the base damage. He's a much better zoning support than he once was.
I like Lion. I think he's pretty darn good. Instant hexes are never to be underrated. And I think you need some sort of instant initiation on Jug so you can constantly chainstone him down. If you don't, he's just going to spin and then turn around and own you with Omni Slash. That's generally how it goes. So,
yeah, you get the quick blink hex, you impale finger. If you've got the follow-up damage, you just kill him before he can Omni.
They have a swap this time, though, so eHug do have some defensive spells for Jug.
We're going to see another Night Stalker ban. Last series, it was banned every single game first phase. But this time around, it makes it through to the second. Still haven't actually gotten to see the new Night Stalker in a competitive match myself, but I imagine at some point we will. The Tidehunter now going to be snapped up by eHug, a hero that I know you're still pretty high on. You were talking about wanting to see him in the last series, and eHug will get their hands on him kind of in the,
well, it depends on
the later half
team
of the draft.
it is, but I think he's a very safe pick. Like, you can shut him down, he can Ancient Stack, and he still has Ravage, and he's actually pretty difficult to zone out. And if you're support sleeve, he bullies around most melee heroes. So, Cloud9, I'm not too familiar what C9 have been drafting recently, and I mean, I expect them to just probably shift styles a lot, I'd say. I mean, they'll probably still be relatively EE-centric in their play, but Big Daddy and Misery probably going to be a lot different flavor than Pielidae and Aoi.
Yeah, I know EE thinks very highly of Misery in particular. He was in an interview and said that he thinks he's... I forget if he said he's one of the most underrated players or just one of the best players out there that's not really on a solid team right now, but he's going to have a chance to work together with him, so looking forward to that. And obviously, they've got some big shoes to fill here. Losing Pielidae and AUI, one of the stronger support duos in the West, especially as of late. They were getting things done, and, well, it's just the Western roster shuffle, man. This is the moment everyone's been waiting for. We're going to get to see the new Cloud9 roster. Not sure how permanent it is. Currently, they're tagged up as stand-ins. It sounds like it's pretty serious, and in terms of what other free agents are out there, I don't know that you can really do better than No Tail and Misery, so I'd be surprised if they don't stick together for at least the slightly longer haul. But yeah, we'll see a Skywrath now for Cloud9, so definitely very different supports than what like Big Daddy was played on Secret. We were seeing a lot of Earthshaker, the Ogre, who's kind of fallen out of vogue in this latest patch, the Elder Titan quite a bit. But the Lion Skywrath, it's actually a pretty aggressive duo. Like, Lion used to be a really terrible laning support. Still needs his levels, but with that 2.5 second hex at level 1, I've seen quite a few Lions, like MMY is a great example, find a lot of early kills.
And now they have the Ancient Seal too. I think like silences, hexes, these are really good ways to deal with Jug. Things that don't have projectile time. Very, very important. And on top of that, if they catch him out in the stun, just boom, Skywrath, he's dead. Or Vengeful swaps in and he's dead too. So I think this is a pretty nice support duo that they have to deal with the Jug. I mean, everyone's looking for solutions for this hero.
Yeah, some teams are just banning him, but it's a good time to experiment if you're Cloud9. For those wondering, guys, this is a best of 3, so no matter what happens here in Game 1, you'll get at least one more match, possibly 2. So if you want to experiment, you definitely have a little wiggle room here. And yeah, eHug going for...
This is not the time to experiment. Not in the winner's bracket of a...
You don't think so?
Pretty large tournament. No way. You go with what you know.
Well, Elder Titan for eHug. So, the Big Daddy hero going the other way. Looking at some of the heroes they've run recently, this one does not show up in their last, like, 5 to 6 matches.
I've seen them play a decent amount. This is a very typical eHug strat.
They've run some really unconventional picks. Like, they ran an Ursa pretty recently. They've been running... Razor, who's definitely not popular. Sna even played a Rasta a couple matches ago, but we're not going to see any of that, it looks like. It'll be the Void for Eternal Envy. Well, are they do we know for sure if No-Tail and Misery are both playing support, or?
I would assume so. I highly doubt that Fado and Bone 7 would either of them would play support. That's like very far-fetched.
5 seconds
okay.
remaining.
So, well, we assume they're the supports, then... We've got the Fada Brew, most likely. The Void could go offlane for Bone 7, but I feel like generally we see EE take this up.
10 seconds remaining.
So, let's see what they opt to do. Batrider ban now. This was a first phase ban in all 3 games in our previous series, but ignored until the final moment. So, they are also expecting this Eternal Envy Void, and they will ban a Bone 7 hero. Definitely one of his strongest in the Bat.
EE plays a much better Void than Bone 7 does.
10 seconds remaining.
They also seem to like giving the hero a lot of farm in general.
5 seconds.
I wonder what they're going to do last too. They could get like another pairing with the Lion and Skywrath and have like LC, but it seems like they're going for heroes with like immense amount of offensive capability too, with Lion, Sky, and Faces Void. LC could get punished. They don't really have that many things to use press the attack on either, so probably won't see that. Trying to think of other Bone 7 heroes.
There's Clockwork, which we don't see too much of lately. Puck, we've seen a lot of.
Puck, I think, would be good here.
Yeah, Bone 7, Puck is probably one of his most go-to heroes, I would say. How about eHug? They have... I guess we're looking at a support Elder Titan here, so they'll need a mid, most likely.
This is a tough game to play mid. Like, you can't play like a really high finesse hero like Ember or Quap. You will get shut down really hard by Lion and Sky, so they might have to go for...
Yeah, we also saw the Quap doesn't necessarily work that well against the Brew. Lost 2 lanes in a row in that matchup in our previous series.
So I was going to say like Viper as like a safer pick. Like, he's pretty tanky. They have... he has a lot of magic resist too versus those 2 support heroes, and just overall nuisance to deal with. But they will go with Razor instead. Good at shutting down a Brewmaster.
Yeah, it's something eHug have run a couple of times recently. Normally MJW who plays it.
10 seconds.
So we'll see if he takes that up again. But definitely one of the stronger heroes versus Brew. That said, it seems like no matter who Brew lanes against, he always gets something out of the lane. I thought the Quap would actually work out pretty well against him, but that was definitely not the case last series. 3 solo kills by TC against the enemy Quap. Like, yeah, you probably don't die if you play the matchup right, but that's a far cry from dominating the lane. How about Cloud9 here? The Bone 7 heroes. We mentioned Puck. Do you still like that? What do you...
I think Puck's the obvious choice here. I don't really think there are that many other options that I would even consider decent.
Okay, they go a total 180 from what we were talking about. And they do run what looks to be the 3-position Void and the Eternal Envy Spectre. Unless they're switching up the roles with these new additions. This is getting spicy.
Spectre's interesting. You can, like, somewhat counter Jug's Omni Slash by haunting as soon as he does it. It's like a mediocre solution too, but even better is just finding all the heroes too. You can stop the Tidehunter, you can find the Vengeful Spirit and silence him so that you can kill the Juggernaut instead. So I like the Spectre pick here. It is a decent amount of farm that is required for their team, but...
And eHug are a pretty fearsome mid-game team. with the maybe the early mech coming out from like this Razor or Tide even, and the healing ward, the Venjar to push. So it could be a little scary for Cloud9 in the mid game.
5 seconds remaining.
But they do have the big AoE combo to hold their towers.
Okay, so EE is playing Void. Bone 7.
Bone 7 Spectre. Is
what?
I wonder, do they just feel more confident in his Void, or is this an actual role swap for Cloud9? We'll have to wait and see, but for now, the players head towards the lane. It's the new unveiling for Cloud9's roster. They've replaced their two supports.
They are
No-Tail and
so
Misery.
fast out of the gate. Like, they skill Dagger, they skill Time Walk, immediately
And
go
they're
out.
bull rushing this lane.
What is going on? Why don't they just smoke?
Well, we'll see. Let's have a pause here, eHug says. They want to get everything together as we get ready. We'll run through the lineups quickly. eHug, again, went undefeated in Starlight America. Definitely not a team to sleep on in the American region, but they'll have their work cut out with the star-studded roster of Cloud9 ready to be unveiled. Sna, going to be playing your Elder Titan support, it looks like. SN, handling the Juggernaut. MJW, lots of regen on the Tide. Infinity, the namesake of the old Infinity +4, he'll be on the Razor. Lust on the Vengeful Spirit. And on the Radiant squad, you've got Big Daddy No-Tail, no longer a part of Team Secret, but looking to show off his talents here for Cloud9. He'll be on the Skywrath. EE, playing the Void that we've come to see him on so frequently. Bone 7, in a bit of a surprise, will be handling that Spectre. It puts Misery onto the support Lion as eHug get aggressive, moving through this Radiant jungle, looking to control it, and it does leave Fada on his signature Brewmaster. So they're going to block off the camp with a Sentry early. Radiant team did see the move down. They probably have noticed the Sentry is gone, but will they know where it's been placed? The pings come out, so they have an idea there's a ward around this area. Or at least seem to suspect it. So we're going to see the Tide offlane for eHug, it looks like, and they're going to put Bone 7... Let's see, is he going... Is he just going offlane solo?
The battle begins.
I believe so.
This is definitely not... This is not your old Spectre. Normally, Spectre is like that little baby, you know, you feed it milk, you make sure it's warm and cared for, and then it grows up to be the big scary Spectre, and one day it repays your investment, but then this looks like it might just be a 3-position offlane Spectre, judging by how they're laning it.
Well, Spectre is cool in that he can go in the trees with Dagger, but aside from that, that is pretty much the only thing that's keeping him from dying in this lane.
Yeah, you just look at like some of his abilities, like Dispersion. You definitely need some amount of farm, which Bone 7 is not going to be getting in this lane. That's pretty much a given, but he'll hang out in the trees. Frankie's going to come and greet him. Get out of my lane, my friend. Where do you think you're going? He'll get stunned. He does Dagger through the tree line, but they're going to be able to keep vision on him for some time thanks to the static link, and oh, he actually gets caught. He tangos. They've lost sight of him for now. But as soon as that plasma field's got up, he might be able to try and go on him.
Chill there and get experience.
It's all a part of the plan, but they're painting. So they may suspect he's still in the trees here.
So the mid jug. It's kind of cool.
Can someone handle the brew? Jug seems to be doing okay so far.
Yeah, he seems decent. Just spin.
I would say he probably should have died, but after that co-op game earlier, I'm not going to make any assumptions about these brew mids. So it looks like MJW is going to rotate down towards that bottom room. May go for a bit of a stack here. They're still painting. I think eHug are suspicious, but they don't really know for sure where Bone 7 is. So he gets level 2. Very interesting.
Yeah, but they're able to get away with like these really greedy pulls.
And right now he's not getting anything out of the lane. Meanwhile, Big Daddy wants to block off those Ancients a bit. It's only a level 1 Tidehunter. And he does drop the Sentry Ward. At the same time, mid, SN7 getting aggressive here on Fada, who doesn't have any regen right now. And MJW may end up getting caught out as Misery rotates through that Lion. New increased base damage, making the difference. They get the easy takedown. Level 2 Lion. Now level 2 Big Daddy as well on that Skywrath, and off to a good start here on their supports.
Looks like he's going to suicide.
Spends his gold, buys the TP, the Magic Stick, and free Fountain Trip for Big Daddy No-Tail.
So Jug looks like has not put a point into the crit yet. Instead, we'll go for the stats. 2 branches, and the stats I think is what you need for the combo at level 6. But won't have it now. We'll max the Blade Fury though. I don't really think he can shut down Bruce farm at all, though, but he can prevent himself from dying every time he splits spin TP. Easy.
So Bone 7's going to ferry out a smoke now. He grabs it from the base. He's going to move with Big Daddy, it looks like. Are they going to smoke together? Is this the roaming Spectre? Do they look for a lane swap? We're going to have to wait.
How are they going to kill the Jug?
They have to silence him, really, right?
He doesn't have silence.
Yeah, but he's only level 2 and doesn't have it. I guess if he blows Blade Fury, which SN7 has been pretty free in his usage of it. Would be a big kill for the Spectre, who's starved for experience right now. The pings come out. They're just waiting for this. But so far, SN7 is not cooperating. Perhaps
such a low probability play right here.
And he's up on his hill right now. This is not easy. Start pinning. They see the lanes being pulled back, and Bone 7, he's going to give up and wrap around. 4 minutes in. It's been a quiet game from our Spectre thus far.
Oh, they may be going for top lane right now. Looks like Sna will find them.
Can cut some shots there, but the rotation can come in momentarily. Stomp from Sna. Where's the backup from the Vengeful Spirit? Lust will now join the fray, but doesn't want to get caught out and end up blocking his own teammate. Sna continues to limp backwards, I should say. And MJW, it'll be his turn to greet Big Daddy No-Tail. Still has an extra Arcane Bolt or two if he wants it. He heads to the north. He's not going to find what he's looking for, and now he's going to be forced to TP out, but it does draw 3 heroes to that side of the map, and in the meantime, Eternal Envy has a completed Mask of Madness already inbound, just free farming away in the bottom lane.
That is fast.
Naked Mask of Madness. Not even the boots.
4.5 minutes.
That is really fast.
I think it's almost every single creep.
34 CS. Yeah, not even 5 minutes in. That's damn close. Well, with this, the Tidehunter may not feel too safe in this bottom lane. Let's see if MJW is comfortable sticking around once the Mask of Madness is unveiled. It's a completely... Oh, mid lane. Looks like we're going to have a Blade Fury from SN7. Fada is chasing forward. He's got a Bruce Split, but he gets Omni Slash! Oh, he couldn't even get it off. SN7 just slices off his head. That mini stun on the Omni Slash first strike, I guess, did him in.
He could have just split early, like during the spin.
It seemed like... Yeah, it seemed like he was like maybe trying to wait and even think about a clap, and then perhaps realized he was way too low and just got caught off guard. The Jug pick. Perhaps we finally found the solution to these Brewmaster mids that have been doing so much work today, Ben. Let's run Jug mid. Nice play by SN7. And the worst part is they even rotated 3 heroes in. Again, they're investing a lot in trying to shut him down and not really achieving the result.
Oh, and they have a sentry ward to scout C9's high ground ward.
Dire's bottom tower is
they just
under
need to get
attack.
these creeps pushing towards that hill, but looks like they should be able to soon, as you're going to see Lust go for a nice double stack here. Should be able to get it. Yep. Looks like he... Oh, he only got 1.
Rune contention. Who's going to get there?
Fada gets 1. In the meantime, it's a smoke from Cloud9. Eternal Envy with the double damage rune up. Was spotted by a Dire Observer ward, though, so... They know that a rune's been snagged, but they don't know exactly where that hero is going to be headed from here. And with the boots and Mask of Madness, anyone he catches is an easy kill, but...
Including the Centaur Conqueror.
Yeah. Dominated that creep. That's like one of the worst portraits in Dota, by the way.
So now they'll do the classic shift into the jungle with their carry. And get some levels up on their supports. They've been running around a lot, not really yielding that much, especially since they sat in mid for so darn long.
Yeah, Bone 7 continues his journey around the world. He's tried the off lane, he's tried the smoke ganks mid, now he's going bottom. And the cool thing is with the Mask of Madness Void that he can just go jungle, so he doesn't really need a lane anymore. This is definitely one of Cloud9's greatest strengths. It can be punished. We've seen teams sometimes just run them over by constantly ganking these heroes off when they're in the jungle, EG being a good example of Starladder, but generally they just get a lot out of the woods. Good news is for eHug, they're kind of doing the same thing. SN7 off in his own woods. Lust probably going to take over mid here soon. Both teams had some stacking going on. You can see Cloud9 doing a bit here in their own woods, and it's just a very quiet and calm mid game, or early mid game here. Is Cloud9 just chilling, taking it easy. Still no Chrono attempts.
I still don't know what they're doing with the Spectre pick, though.
Now he's got TP back top. It seems like Bone 7 just doesn't have a home. Fada. Caught out by Blade Fury. There is a brew split, though, so SN7 not going to be able to do much to that. Just harassing him back a bit. And they did end up finally dewarding that high ground ward, it looks like. So well played by eHug. What's your like gut feel for just like the timings here for Cloud9? They just need to sit back for a while. Oh, hold that thought. We're gonna have a go here. The Spectre gets caught out. Nice Chrono on 2. Infinity getting bashed a bit with the Mask of Madness. That's enough to almost finish the job. Another leap forward from Eternal Envy. Gets a bash on Sna as well. One more bash. This is probably another kill, but he's not getting it. They'll end up being forced to back off. But they still get the nice turn there. Bringing down the Core Razor, defending the Tier 1 with a vengeance. And yeah, anyway, with that said, go ahead then.
I mean, mostly they're just looking for good Chrono opportunities. I think that's mainly what they're looking for. And of course, the Brewmaster Blink and him dying once. I mean, he would have had it by now, I think, had he not died there. So curious to see what build Juggernaut's gonna go. I think that's the main one. If he goes like Mask of Madness, they're gonna be looking for Roshan control. If he goes like Battle Fury, probably looking to get like a Manta style before he starts fighting.
Which approach do you think eHug should be taking? Like, they've got the Venge Elder Titan, very potent late game duo. Definitely have the Tide Razor who can also go late. Do you think that's an option for them, or would you look more to dominate C90 for the Spectre gets online?
Well, I don't know. Vada.
He's gonna finally use this, but there is an Omni / Healing Ward also thrown out, and it's just so difficult to run this thing down, zooming all over the place. Finally brought down by the Wind Pan of it. That's a Brew Split committed to basically no avail, and the Juggernaut just proves to be so irritating. Brew Split's being thrown out, not accomplishing anything, getting solo kills on Brew, and even forcing out multiple heroes to rotate. Now it's eHug's turn to strike. They're gonna smoke. SN7 looking to make plays for his team. He'll move south directly into the Radiant Woods. And at the same time, it's Cloud9 on the smoke. They're heading to the north. Looks like maybe nobody gets caught, or maybe Bone 7. He's finally found a lane to farm. Oh, you poor unfortunate soul. This is not going to last for long. He gets stunned. Blade Fury's there. He's going to head to the left instead, but Juggernaut just keeps the pursuit. Up goes for the TP out. Is he actually going to make it? Oh, he is. Oh, Bone 7.
Wow, sick play
Big
by
plays.
Bone 7.
Just worming his way into that little spot in between the trees and making things happen. Infinity caught out top. Gets hexed, or gets impaled, gets nuked, and gets blown up. The finger being put to great effect, and Cloud9 just finding these nice little pickoffs to stay neck and neck with eHug early.
I don't even know like why they're ganking the Spectre so much, though. I think they can actually kill Faceless Void, especially with this like blast cannon sort of build. He also went a bottle too, unusually.
Well, not for Eternal Envy.
Yeah, I suppose
He
so.
does love
Usually
the
he gets someone to pull it to him, though.
Yeah, or he like gets it much later as well when he's just can trade an item out to carry a double damager in. But I guess they're just looking to kind of move the Void around and make him one of their main gankers while the Spectre plays catch up here. So if you're going to be ganky a lot, I suppose you can pay off. Bottom lane, there's an initiation coming out from Fada. He gets the clap on 2. They try to chase onwards to SN7, but it'll just Blade Fury here. Dodging out from some of the nuke damages. Infinity turns and looks to go back in. They have an Omni Slash, but I don't know if SN7 gets in range, or he's going to try for it. Oh, he thinks about it, but Fada was ready to greet him at the same time top. Onto Sna. They go with Eternal Envy here. Still doesn't even need a Chrono. He just keeps on doing these the good old-fashioned way with some hard right clicks.
4-0-4, full out offense, and they still can't punish him at all. Big Daddy.
Well, that was quick and easy. SN7 getting the last hit there. Now they look for Fada in the tree lines. He goes for the Brew Split immediately. They have a Ravage and an Anchor Smash to help deal with this. Infinity hangs on. He's starting to drink quite a bit of damage. Only a level 2 static link, but not dead just yet. Ravage comes out, but it's while the Brew is still split just to try and control Misery. And now Infinity trapped in the trees. He's going to fight it out with Fada. He's stolen 65 damage. They end up losing their Tidehunter. They do get the trade on Fada, though. Nicely done by SN7. But that's with Eternal Envy, just off in his own little world top lane. He actually has Proto ready, but did not see a good opportunity to TP in there. And they are fighting this 5v4 right now, or 4v5. Cloud9, the Spectre pick, still just really not offering anything to them, at least to this point in the draft.
Well, they want to get him 6. I think once he gets 6 and faces Void gets 1 more item, I think they'll start fighting a lot more. The thing is, they don't have to. I think like taking a late game versus a Void is always going to be a questionable strategic decision.
They do have the Venge, so they have the swap to kind of deal with it. But Refresher Void seems to trump that in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Refresher Void is ridiculous.
Well, that is a long ways off, and good news for eHug. Eternal Envy, he's farmed, but he's not that farmed. We'll have an unpause now. eHug back underway.
It's more he's not really scared. I guess Juggernaut's kind of the same way, too. He's not really ever scared.
Jug can be, ooh, the classic Misery Midas. Man, he really loves that item. He's now going to try to chase down Big Daddy. Don't know if he can get in range for a Stomp here, though. That concussive shot just keeping his hero back a little bit and slowing down the chase. Looks like he will not end up being able to get in range.
Misery's almost leveled, like, his levels are insane.
Yeah, he just got the Midas as well, so it's not because of the Midas.
He's the same level as Fada.
He might be more farmed. He's only 500 net worth down right now.
Tis mine.
Musical rolls, it kind of feels like this game. Lion quickly moving into that, maybe even that 3-position roll, the
they're looking for a kill. They have Spectre ultimate up on top lane. They do have vision.
EG looking to unload the Spirit Bomb. It's on the Lust, and it will be a nice, simple takedown. They use a Spectre ult here just to kind of draw them back, and then Bone 7 haunts in. And then Bone 7 runs the hell away.
I think they could have gone for more. Tidehunter didn't have his Ravage, and they just went in and went out.
Played it safe.
Yeah. I don't even think he had a Chrono. They had vision behind the lines with that Observer Ward.
It does seem like Cloud9's just applying a lot more pressure, but this Jug looks to change that. He runs in, and then he Blade Fury TP's out, and they don't have a ton of answers for that. Just the Chronosphere to deal with the Jug.
Gold for me.
As MJW gets pursued out a bit by Big Daddy No-Tail, but can't really get in range for anything more. This Spectre is just so poor.
Wonder what EE saving for, too. Well, I mean, the Tidehunter, I think, is almost just as poor.
That's true. But would you rather have a poor Tidehunter or a poor Spectre?
Well, to be honest, it doesn't really seem like it matters that much, just because Tidehunter hasn't really been able to contribute that much. His one Ravage on bottom didn't really hit anyone. I think later on...
He is going to have Blink
Spectre,
soon.
yeah. Or obviously Tidehunter.
Yeah. I guess that'll be where the Tidehunter looks to kind of bring a lot more to the table, is once he gets this Blink. Coming fairly soon, Bone 7 going to TP on back to base. Misery and Eternal Envy work together here in the jungle. The power of friendship in action. eHug not trying for that Roche play that we saw, though. I mean, we saw the Juggernaut solo Roche. They also have minus armor
for it.
from Venge and Tide, but yeah, this is your more like traditional gank-oriented, constant fighting, aggression Jug with the phase boots drums. Lots of early stats for him. Just a very... It's kind of the beauty of the hero, though. He's just so versatile in terms of how you itemize and look to play him.
So what about this Razor? Razor looks like he's going for a Scepter, drums. No PKB, surprisingly, versus C9's lineup.
Uh-oh. Hello, Sna. Gets bashed on the first hit, and now Eternal Envy. He's got a Chrono ready. He's going to unload it. It just catches Infinity, which prompts a Mystic Flare. But there's a healing ward here, and Infinity is awfully damn tanky. They even threw Haunt in. They keep on using these big ults, but it just doesn't seem like eHug's finding openings to punish the cooldowns. And there is still a Brew Split to back this all up. Not done yet. Eternal Envy fighting out with SN7. Yasha now picked up. Can't really Omni that, and he'll end up just backing off. That Razor is so tanky, though.
So Vate's voice still sitting at 3,500 gold. That's a lot of gold to sit on. Still not sure what he's committing for.
I mean, Maelstrom's kind of the obvious go-to item. We've seen occasionally BKBs, although normally not this early. What do you think EE goes for here?
I'm not sure. I think if he goes damage, he's just going to get owned by Jug if he goes in. And
do you think tank up so you can like live through the Omni Slash?
Well, I don't know what item tanks up though. Maybe Scepter actually. I think would be pretty good for him, since he's been pretty active around the map.
I don't know if I've ever seen EE go Scepter on Void. I don't think he's a huge fan of it.
It's getting better and better.
That's true. I still remember this event in 2012, D1 League. Burning, no one played Void at the time. Went for the Ags Refresher Void, and I don't think I had ever seen it in a competitive game, or it had been done by a top team, and he ended up getting 8-slotted and they lost on Void. Bone 7's gonna fence around here at the Roche pit. They've got 3 heroes down in the pit. They know the Chrono's down, and they look to punish it here. The Chronosphere coming up soon. 13 seconds. This is coming down to the wire. Ravage is ready with the Blink Dagger. EE in position. 7 seconds. Just a bit slow. Bone 7 goes for the big snipe. He can't pull it off, though, as MJW unloads with a Ravage. Hits Big Daddy. Catches out Misery. Can't finish anyone off. There is a finger, though. Gets sapped. And with the level 2, it's enough to get a kill. Swap out. Oh, is it going to save SN7? No, it's not. EE pulls it out of the hat. Now Lust on the run. Aegis already been used up, and now Infinity's got to turn this one. Where's the extra right clicks? He gets the backtrack or the uphill miss, not sure, but doesn't get the kill otherwise. And now they're going to chase onwards towards Fada. They bring him low with the Wave of Terror. He's almost dead, not just quite enough. And the neutrals just not. Oh my goodness. Poor eHug. They lose their Aegis. They don't end up getting the kill on him. Then Moan 7 comes back in with Haunt, kills off Lust, goes on to Infinity. Now, mind you, this is a Spectre with a Wraithband and a Killa and an Urn. And he's posting up on the enemy Razor with a solid 2.5k more net worth. And on the top of all this, Eternal Envy puts a cherry on it. He reveals his next item. It's a Battle Fury.
That could have been so much better for Cloud9. They didn't go in for the Roche steal until the Roshan was already dead. Fada had an invisibility rune of all runes, and they had a Spectre who could have just right-clicked down the jug.
The one thing that really hurt, though, was EE's Chrono was like 4 seconds off cooldown when the Roche died. I think Cloud9 were just hoping that Roche would last a bit longer. But still turns out pretty well for them in the end. They end up, all the big cooldowns used by eHug. They end up getting rid of that Aegis immediately. The gold does go the way of the Dire. The Brewmaster's denied neutrals. Even though it could have been a lot better, it was still pretty damn good.
My, EE is getting so big.
Bone 7, swap back in, continues the retreat out. He's got an Urn charge if he needs to use it, and he'll toss one out there. Just to keep himself in fighting condition. And yeah, another 1,300 gold for EE. Big void.
Bone 7's doing a really good job of not dying. And being super annoying with the Spectre, too. Knows his way around the trees.
He would make it twice very proud. They look for Infinity. They chrono up. They even Bruce Split. Heavy commitment. And then a Mystic Flare. Yeah, let's use all the ultimates, they say. Kill secured. Big one there. And now they're even chasing this Tide Hunter, though. He's pretty far back, but they bring in reinforcements. Now they've got the Lion Blink. And Tide just a split second too fast on his reactions. Barely able to retreat out.
The damn Lion is farmed too. Level 11, Midas Blink, no deaths.
Misery's been having a hell of a game.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty scary for the Jug even to deal with later.
Well, now with Void having Battle Fury, Mask of Madness, Spectre slowly farming Bone 7, by the way. He's got the Null Tally strat on Nature's Prophet, matched by the Wraithband strat on a Spectre now. This guy loves his cheap stats.
I'm surprised he didn't go Blade Mail.
That's true. He can always go back for it. Sell a Wraithband later. Gets swapped into an Omni Slash, though. You might need another Wraithband, says SN7. That's just not quite enough HP.
Wow, that was a smart play, too.
Swap away for the creeps. Quick Omni. Very well executed.
Middle tower is under attack.
So EE huddling around that top area, but they do have that Observer Ward. Will scout him out as well as the Lion. So they should be pretty safe. It doesn't seem like the Elder Titan has been able to do anything in this game.
Can they bait this somehow? EE gonna pop the Mask of Madness in view now of MJW. And they look to go in with the Ravage. That's gonna connect. They followed up with a stomp as well. Misery gets stomped right on the blink in. Now the Earth Splitter coming through. Can they finish him off though? Jugs surging forward. Wants this EE kill. Can they get it? One more right click. They get the kill. Big takedown there. Your Lion gonna be next. eHug sprinting a huge trap. And then they finish off Misery to boot. Oh, Misery almost broke that combo, but he just blinks in a little bit too close to the Elder Titan stomp, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it's Cloud9 getting a little too aggressive there, but that Observer Ward really saved them.
That was like the perfect time for that all to happen.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's
eHug
structures are fortified.
playing pretty well.
Looking to do America proud here as the European usurpers march in. With only Eternal Envy to mark them as American. Or North American, anyway.
Spectre is still gonna go for Radiance.
It's pretty late.
I mean,
It's
but it's
gonna
an
be like
off lane.
yeah.
Spectre. What else are you
Radiant's
gonna
top
get?
tower is under attack.
It
Manta?
doesn't feel like there's one other item that would hugely change the Spectre's impact in fights, right? Like, I guess you can get maybe a Diffusal Blade or something,
Radiant's
but
top tower is under attack.
could go straight Manta, I suppose.
Yeah, straight Manta seems pretty good here.
Good against Omnislash in particular. Bone 7 gets clapped in the face. This guy takes punishment like a champ, I have to say. As SN7 gets aggressive, he's going to spot out Misery, but Misery's a bit quicker. He hexes him and blinks the other way. SN7 almost finding yet another pickoff. 5-1-0. And he's running on in. But Bone 7's not waiting. This one might not go the way he's hoping. The Hex is on cooldown, though. It's only level 1. Omnislash comes through, bounces to the creep, stops bouncing after that. Now they impale Misery with the prediction stuns. They look for a bit more. He's going to Blade Fury with no Omnislash. Has to kind of retreat out of here. They leave Lust ready for a swap out if need be. Now he goes for the TP out instead. And the Spectre haunts in. He wants to kind of cut off these backliners. Mystic Flare coming out, but it's not quite on the money. SN7 finally going to go down. Man, that took some commitment to get that kill. And I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but Brew did pick up a Midas. I think he's had it for like 4 or 5 minutes now. So Cloud9 with the double Midas. Really wanting to outlake him, eHug.
Some unlucky bounces, and again, Bone 7 just doing a great job of messing with the opponents, kind of baiting them out into these really bad positions, but still, that is only Jug's second death in this entire game. It's actually not
Dire's
that
bottom
farm,
tower is
though.
under attack.
1500 below the Faceless Void.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Blink in. Clap is there. Lust tried to stun the Brew before he could split. That was not possible, though. And now the Cyclone Panda, Wind Panda, I should say, searching for Snom, but he's going to stomp from the high ground right as that Wind Panda walks up. Again, just giving a little kick in the
Dire's
face
bottom tower
and
is
forcing it
under
back.
attack.
Still gets off the Cyclone. Cheeky little bugger. So they take the tier 1 bottom. They push through towards the tier 2. But there, the progression will halt, and it looks like Bone 7 may in fact be going for that late Radiance. He's now at 2400
Yeah.
and
I don't really see why
not
not.
spending his gold.
They're obviously looking to take it late with 2 Midases, a Faceless Void, and a Spectre. So I think building for late game is nice too. As opposed to like a Vlad, so they can do Roche or something like that.
Yeah, and eHug's still very strong at that stage of the game too.
Razor hasn't been able to
Dire's
do that
middle
much too.
tower is
He has
under
a Scepter, but he just dies to all the magic damage.
It definitely feels like a BKB game for him. Mystic Flare, Finger, all the Spectre's damage as well. Even the Void's bashes.
Clap.
Yeah, a lot of magic.
Ability. He can't move around in fights.
I feel like he has to get to that like godly Razor status with Eggs Refresher, BKB, where he could just stand there, like face tank everything C9 throws away and just destroy the Void when or the Spectre when they try and jump him. But he's got a long way to go to get that level of farm.
Or get an Aegis.
Yeah, that'll work too. Only gets the 1 life though with the Eye of the Storm nowadays. They will smoke here mid. I'm not sure if the actual animation was spotted. They were in the tree line, but not seeing any good opportunities now. SN7 very aggressively positioned. They actually ping him out a bit here, but I don't think Bone 7 wants to tango. He's going to dagger on through, trying to steal a creep or 2. Actually running in there now. And at the same time, they do catch out Big Daddy No-Tail, throws down the Mystic Flare to cover his retreat, but it's to no avail. He ends up falling, and at the same time, Misery, they're going to look for a trade here. They push down the tier 2, forcing out a Glyph. Now retreating out. And now farming the enemy jungle. Both teams just content to trade, basically. No one really cruising for that big showdown of a fight yet. And by the way, I don't know if we mentioned this yet, but EE's gone for the Blink Dagger.
It's not so bad. Blink in, Chrono, Time Walk out, so you don't get Omnied, and Ravage. That's not bad. We've seen, like when we saw Ush's Void, he would go in and then he would die. So this way you can save your Time
can be
Walk.
nice against the Omni Slash as well, just so you can, like you said, reserve the Time Walk for the jump out.
Yeah. It's actually not bad.
Because in a lot of ways, it feels like Omni Slash could be the counter to the Void, but nope, not when this happens. He's going to get a 2-for-1 special. MJW blinks directly into the Chrono on top of him, maybe not realizing there was a double damager in there, and he pays dearly. Oh, it's starting to look like it's going late. And that's for Cloud9 having the Void Spectre and double Midas. This is going to be tough.
Yeah, EE's actually creating a lot of space for Bone 7. Now the roles have swapped. And, I mean, they can't really do that much against a split push. This is one of the downfalls of Juggernaut. He can't really defend multiple places at once. He can split push, but he can't really push out all the lanes safely.
And they just can't really seem to gank EE very easily. Like, the Spectres died occasionally, but now that EE is just putting so much pressure on eHug, it becomes about ganking and shutting down the Void, and they just can't seem to do that.
And then by that time, Spectre will have his Radiance.
Yeah, we're closing in. It's by no means the world's fastest Radiance, but for an off-lane Spectre who was roaming early and going for smoke ganks, it's a pretty good time. He's definitely catching up. Cracks 3 digits in CS, and yeah, in terms of farm, Eternal Envy is just gargantuan. 233 CS. The Battle Fury definitely has paid for itself by now. Very slow, deliberate game to open things up as second best of 3. Winner of this one moves on to play Fire, who looked a little shaky in their previous series, but they were solid enough. They took it 2-1, and they knocked down their opponent to the lower bracket, so we'll see. Fire's waiting, probably watching. We will be playing that winner bracket finals today. I'm not sure if it's the 3rd or the 4th match, but we'll get to see actually both of these teams again. At least one more match today. It's now a Roshan town. But how scary is an Aegis really to like give the eHug at this point?
I mean, it's decent for Razor, so he can survive through a Chronosphere, but that is just a temporary solution. And eventually, EE will probably have a refresher. So
yeah. For now, he goes for the Demon Edge. So crit probably coming, maybe an MKB, although Jug has not built any evasion yet.
Roshan has fallen to the dice.
Maybe just a rapier. He'll go for the MKB. Definitely the safer of the two. That way you just kind of have insurance if anyone does decide to go for some evasion later on. You're going to hang out here in the Dire Woods, and it's the Lost 2 walks in. Raw Neighborhood, my friend. Walks on to EE, stuns him. Actually, they're going to be okay. Haunt comes through, zoning the rest of eHug back, and they kind of want to engage on this. They zap Lust a bit more, but that's going to be it. Misery just casually chucking out that Finger of Death. Not quite enough to kill him yet. He's almost level 16, by the way. Let's compare that to the other supports in this game. Level 9 Venge, level 11 Elder Titan, level 11 Scarth, level 15.5 Lion. Midas definitely making the difference there. As they leap in onto SN7, Mystic Flare combo, enough to bring down the Aegis, and that cost them absolutely zilch. And this was right before the rest of eHug smoke behind him. An unfortunate time for him to die. More Blink Daggers. Now one on the Jug.
Yeah, eHug seems a little bit lost as to what to do. They know they don't have the late game. They can't kill Spectre, they can't kill Void, and they also can't take teamfights.
Oh, this they can do! Quick Omni slash Ravage brings down the supports. But it's only the supports. And with Ravage down, going high ground here will be difficult.
Dire's bottom tower is
And that's a Radiance and just 40 gold for Bone 7. 30 minutes, pretty well timed, I would say.
Considering the circumstances, I don't really think you could expect much more out of him, to be honest. And he is going to get it now. Although he gets stomped, he bought the recipe, and he may pay for it. They force Staff on through with the Plasma Field. They do get the kill. But sadly, it's just right after he bought the recipe. Still, it's a minute where he's not farming with it. Something for eHug. Getting 3 kills in a row here, straining a couple together, but we still see Fada continue to clear items. It's basically been completely silent as of late, but you know eventually that Brew is going to come back with an AC and it'll start destroying you inside of the team fights. There's just no hurry for Cloud9 here. If this game continues to go late, they're going to be happy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
eHug has pretty good vision on the opposite side of the map, but still just no solution for killing the Void and the Spectre, whereas you just saw how quickly the Juggernaut died, and that was just from both supports. These supports can't really touch your Juggernaut at all. They can kite him a little bit with Yules and stumps and whatnot and swaps.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of time before that refresher probably comes out. I mean, maybe E just goes for more right click, but at which point you can't even count on the swap. It is feeling a little bit dicey here. eHug just not. I mean, some of these heroes do go pretty late on their side, but they didn't really itemize for like ultra late game. They didn't buy any Midases. Juggernaut went for the more aggressive early game build, which certainly served its purpose, but the rest of the team just wasn't really able to snowball off of that and push the advantage, keep Cloud9 down. They're going to make their way bottom now. Lust in front, Big Daddy in the trees, and they look with a wave of terror. Big Daddy heads to the right. Now he's hasted, he's on the run. Gush from MJW, that ain't going to make a difference, and the Haunt will end up scaring everybody back as nobody looks to engage. Bone 7 to TP out top, where Eternal Envy is already very actively pushing this lane in.
Well, Healing Ward blown. I guess that's actually a pretty big cooldown for the side of eHug, and EE, after one more wave, will be hitting the T3, so I don't really think eHug can commit to this.
And he's got quite a bit of damage as well. He wants to commit to it. Sees the support. Looks like he may back off here. Sna. Actually poking his head out quite far there if EE was still sticking around, but that's not the case. He's actually bottom, and he's ready. Ravage is there, but EE does it. He blinks in for the chrono. Time walks out to dodge the Ravage, and now they look to re-engage here. No Ravage anymore, and Lust will be the prey. He gets clubbed down, swatted by the Brew, and they smoke to chase further. Misery scurrying out, looking for that big initiation. Blink Hex, ready. Finger, almost level 3. Just the level 2 will probably be good enough, and they're going to find Sna. Trapped out mid lane. Impale to follow this one up, but the Omni Slash was waiting. Gets one. Ethereal Blades there. Now the Yules, they juggle completely their way through this. Misery survives. Big Daddy survives. They deal with the Elder Titan. They force their way onwards, looking for this Juggernaut pick. They'll be dropping him down in just a moment or two. Impale greets him. SN7. No chance he gets out of that, as Fada ends him. And with that, hits level 16. And then some. Well, the Blink Dagger definitely paid off there for EE.
Yeah, it's getting real dicey. He has 5,000 gold to boot. On top of that, he's just completely destroying the Juggernaut in terms of net worth. And on top of that, it's just so difficult to counter the Chronosphere. In theory, they have like Ravage and Swap and Elder Titan Stomp, but they don't really have... They haven't really executed at all. Faceless Void doesn't even need to get a BKB this game, whereas we just saw Juggernaut's ult just get owned by Ghost Scepter on Big Daddy, as well as just...
And the Yule Scepter, yeah. That was just painful to watch. And they don't have a Diffusal Blade. Juggernaut doesn't even have the money for one right now, and that really doesn't help them go later. That's more of a continue to stay relevant now type of item, but he may have no choice. And it's just one of those games where you want to remember that there's a Spectre and you really want to do something about it, but they can't. They're too busy trying to deal with the other 4 and still losing those fights in many cases.
And they're pretty much farming everywhere except for eHug's Ancients. And they even could farm that if they wanted to.
It's only a matter of time. Blinken. Chrono's there from E. We'll catch out Infinity with the Mystic Flare follow-up. Nothing for him to do but die as... Now the Haunt comes out. Don't know if we'll see a Spectre engage on the back of this. But they're able to just throw out an ult, get a solo kill, even at 36 minutes, and there's just nothing eHug seems to be able to do to punish it. And now Fada will disconnect. We're going to have what looks at least a bit of a pause here, Ben, but it does not look good for eHug in game number 1.
Not at all. This is getting close to disaster territory, especially if they get the Aegis. Spectre can kind of just YOLO in with Dispersion and Radiance and drop everyone low enough to the point where they're just going to get cleaned up. And God forbid Jug doesn't get his Omni Slash off, because then they won't have any damage.
Where do you think this went wrong for eHug in particular? Because they were doing pretty well early.
The Razor pick,
even,
I think. Razor hasn't done anything this game.
Yeah.
He can't push. He didn't shut down...
In team fights, he just gets chronoed, mystic flared, fingered, or ignored.
He can't split push. He can't defend against split push. Doesn't really contribute to Roshan. Static link up time is minimal. I thought they were going to use a mid to shut down the Broodmaster, which I thought would have been pretty nice, but be honest, they didn't even really need it since Jug already solo killed him.
Yeah. And they didn't really like go for any big timing push or anything like that with the healing ward, the auras, maybe a mech blink, like, and it's just so hard to do that the way Cloud9 play.
Razor just doesn't have the mobility needed to match up against a lot of the popular carries this patch. Like Anti-Mage has Blink, Faceless Void has Pseudo Blink, and Juggernaut can just Omni Slash you, and he can just spin away, spin TP. So, I mean, even Spectre, he can just run into the trees.
It just takes longer to end games in general. So, you know, like when we were seeing the Razor, it was like, you know, more in the Death Ball Dota, but it seems like split pushing, farming all over the map is generally winning out, just because towers are harder to kill, and it seems to take teams much longer to go high ground. It's also riskier than it used to be.
If they had like a Naga Siren or something, maybe not Naga because Lion, but you know, something of that nature where they can keep up with the farm, and someone that can do damage without fear of dying from Chrono, I think that would be a lot stronger for them.
Well, something for eHug to think about for game number 2.
If they're like safe pick, they're like, oh, we don't know what else to pick, so we're just gonna pick it.
Well, for those just joining us, guys, this is your winner bracket semifinal. There's only 4 teams in this qualifier. We'll take a quick look at the brackets now. Fire just got done dealing with Complexity, their old namesake. Looks like Fada has reconnected, so we'll probably get underway here in just a moment or two. I believe he was updating, but yeah, Fire has moved along in this bracket. Now they're in the winners bracket finals. Winner of this best of 3 will face them, and then the loser drops down to play Complexity. So Fire potentially going to face Cloud9 the way things are looking, and that's going to be that may end up being the matchup that decides this qualifier. It looks like they may be the 2 strongest teams, but still time here for eHug to bounce back, even if they can't do it in game 1 and definitely in game 2. It's going to be tough, though. We unpause, we get back underway, and eHug still on the back foot.
I mean, EE is very close to 6-slotted right now.
Well, good news is there's not too much further he can go, I guess. Is he going to go for a solo kill here on Finger? Now the Yules. And then he'll just jump back. When a Lion's just able to do that to your supports and not get punished, that's a really, really sad day, I have to say. They're just all over the map. It's crazy to watch how active all their players are. Spectre, like, starting the off lane, going mid, now was laning bottom, constantly Bone 7 hiding the trees. Misery, No Tail, smoke yanking a lot this game. Fada's been pretty active, and EE's just been all over the place with the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he's been farming, like, I think the opponent's jungle more so than his side of the map.
Yeah, he's taking that tougher farm, and that frees up the safer farm in their jungle for his team to give to, like, the Spectre and the slightly less mobile heroes.
I mean, even Fada's a pretty big deal now, too, with the Vlads and the AC. Like, Razor, even if you were to get a lot of static link, you can't do that much damage. Well, looks like they're about to jump over here. EE is nowhere close.
And they do look for an initiation, but still, Bone 7 fighting his way through this creep wave. They swap him out into the Omni Slash. He gets slashed to pieces. They end up bringing down that Spectre rather quickly. Omni Slash still going. Now finally we'll decimate the creep wave, and they get the Spectre kill. It's a very nice kill for eHug, but it's unfortunately they just cannot transition into objectives after getting these kills.
I mean, they can't even push out their lanes after these kills, let alone objectives.
Yeah, that's true. Objectives might be thinking a bit ambitiously. You know, Omni Slash is down here. Jug now going for the completed Ags, and there's a 2-hero Impale. Finger, Mystic Flare bringing SN7 down. An eye for an eye as the Spectre will buy back and look to engage. He's haunted and deep behind enemy lines, and does he continue the chase on the Lust? It seems he wants to, but now he gets Static Link. This could end up being a dieback for Bone 7 if they're able to back up. Ravage is here, die back on your Spectre, but EE, Sama is coming. He's got the Chronosphere. Swap out, though. Turns this one. Only Lust ends up going down. And that will be where the dust settles. Tidehunter still has a Ravage in reserve. And that was just a dieback from the Spectre.
Man, that Blink Chrono is so ownage. It's so quick.
Yeah, you don't have that wind up of like the Void propelling himself forward when you time walk. That mana cost change to Blink Dagger might be one of the biggest changes, if not the biggest, like the past 3 years of competitive Dota. I see that item so much more now.
Easy Aegis. Bone 7, unfortunately, died again.
Yeah.
But that's okay. He doesn't need to.
Roshan has fallen to
You know the rest of the team's pulling their weight when Spectre just dies back. It's like, no big deal.
Well, Faceless Void, I mean, he doesn't have need boots. I guess he has Time Walk
He's
and
got
Blink.
Yeah, Blink, Mask of Madness, EE. He opts for the bootless life to go with the faceless life. At this rate, he's gonna run out of appendages to get rid of. The armless.
Where does he put
void.
his mask if he doesn't have a face?
I don't know. Like hangs it off of the hammerhead. I'm not sure.
Does Jug actually have a face?
Yeah. He just doesn't like to show it to the world.
This
he's
damage
a
is
shy
so
guy.
pathetic comparing his to E.
You cutie juggernaut.
It takes him so long to kill even one ancient stack or one ancient camp.
Not having Battle Fury definitely is not helping. He's gonna sell his tread, so see where EE goes. I guess the one thing is he's somewhat slot limited now. 6.3k gold. Could drop the Mask of Madness, maybe replace that with something else.
Refresher, I'd say. Or at least refresher on chicken, if nothing else.
The only thing is if he gets rid of the Mask, like he needs attack speed though. He's only got 15 from the MKB and that's it. If he gets rid of the Mask of Madness. Chrono dodged deftly by SN7, but will make sure to at least get these creeps on his way out. They even haunted for this. But all the lanes are just so pushed.
They should have haunted first. If they haunt first, they stop the blink.
That's true. Actually, that's a really potent combo with the Chrono, now that you mention it.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted that, though, they could just gotten like an offlane Zeus or something, which is at least, I would say, somewhat more common.
Yeah, maybe a Nature's Prophet to some extent.
If they're just waiting for late game, I guess Spectre's good. Why not?
It's taking a while for Bone 7 to catch up, though. Still has not added a real item to his inventory since that Radiance, and he got it at 30 minutes. It's been 10 minutes, and basically he's only got 1,600 gold to show for it.
Smoking into the Aegis. This is a risky play. EE does not look like he sees it coming, because who would be bold enough to do such a move?
Only EE-sama himself. That's who. And he's going to walk into this Tidehunter, and he'll blink away. Can they get a range? Doesn't look like it. Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah, Aegis timer. We've still got about 2.5 minutes to go here. Well, Ben, I guess it is going late. Over under on eHug?
Really low, like 10% maybe, probably slightly lower. I mean, C9 has to end at some point though, because EE is just getting actually too much fun now. I mean, Butterfly, Bots, Refresher, that's still a fair amount of gold, I say for him. I don't even know if he wants Butterfly. He might just want Daedalus over Butter. I don't really think he needs the evasion.
It would be more fitting for the approach he's taken this game. Skipping backtrack entirely until like level 9, I think. Time walk on the Infinity bottom lane, but gets off the static link. EE's gonna drop a Chrono the other direction because he sees Lust there, who's out of range of the static link, so he gets a freebie kill. And now they look for something else, but they are fighting without their Void for the big high ground push. Double Ravage comes out, Omni Slash bouncing pretty much all over the place, but doesn't end up getting too many kills. Only the Lion down, and that was a big commitment. Omni Slash, Double Ravage, Brew Split thrown out as well. EE just pushing in bottom lane. Big Daddy on the retreat out. As eHug do hold the line, but Chrono up in 70 and no Ravages for 130 seconds. So they got to get a bit more, and they're looking for it now. Thana with the BKB, turns to fight Infinity. Sen7 working his way onto him. Mystic Flare used just as a zoning tool. As EE finally gets in range, he blinks forward, but he doesn't have the boots, so doesn't move particularly quickly. He gets Yules now. He's just being juggled and controlled. EE, Cloud9. They may try to continue this push, knowing all those big ults are down. No, they think better of it. Slow roll it, and back themselves out.
He's being very conservative with this BKB. Like, ultra conservative.
Well, I guess the discipline is a lot more important in this patch than what it used to be. Juggernaut does pick up a Basher, so Abyssal Blade, I suppose, in the cards for him, but going for this Ag's Blink Manta still does not hit very hard.
He's getting there.
feels like he's like, if with 2 items, then he'll really start to pack a punch.
I think he just needs Abyssal. Once he gets Abyssal, I think they can actually kill the Faceless Void. Because they don't really have a defensive capability against like a Blink Omni Slash, unless they time walk out. But if you just cover it with Ravages and Abyssal him, I think they're okay.
Poor Juggernaut, so low. One more auto attack, but he mantas out. He's gonna end up surviving. SN7, that haunt.
He
cooling
also
down
didn't have buyback.
That could have been the game. Well, maybe not the game, but definitely trouble brewing mid lane. And fortunately for him, Spectre Haunt was like 3 seconds off of cooldown when he got back to the well.
So that is a refresher on EE. Still 5,300 gold to boot. Really liking his Mask of Madness. He actually won't have that much attack speed if he sells his mask. He'll just have 15 from Mjolnir. I mean,
I guess you can go for like Butterfly there, but
Mjolnir, I think, might be
Mjolnir? Okay.
I don't really think he needs a defense.
Yeah, that's where though something like a Daedalus doesn't really seem like the right item. Like you have plus 15 from MKB and that's pretty much it. Well, 10 from Refresher. But. Chronosphere onto Infinity. Top lane. SN7 walks in hoping to Omni Slash this, but the double Chronos deployed. Brings down Infinity. Can he get SN7 in time? Looks like he'll be able to. Bone 7's into the backlines right now, dealing with Snob. They're 2v4ing this one and coming out on top. 2v5ing now as they go into MGW. He ravages in frustration, but down to the well he goes. Snob, the only man left to hold the fort. And that is just not a good sign. If Jug could have just gotten off that Omni, but he was just a bit too far out of range.
Man, I think level 3 Chrono actually takes 200 mana. 200 mana for an ultimate that potent.
Void is 1,000 mana, so he basically has infinite mana.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you have Refresher, you're like, oh crap, am I going to have enough mana to use it? But
like Tidehunter, for example.
Yeah, I think he can Time Walk, ult, Refresh, and Time Walk and ult on an agility hero without any mana loss. That's insane.
Well, and the ultimate as well. Well, folks, with that said, that wraps up game 1 here. The new Cloud9 debuts in a rather one-sided way. They take out eHug here.
Well greeted.
Welcome to the big leagues is what Cloud9 says, but it is a best of 3. Do you think eHug can at least take a game off them, or are you not a believer?
Nope, not this time. 2-0 C9, my prediction.
The Merlini Pox is in now, so sorry to anyone who bet on eHug, but your Arcanas are in jeopardy. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the Dota 2 Asia Championships, brought to you by Beyond the Summit. We're just getting underway with our American qualifier action. Still the Europe qualifier, some of the Asian qualifiers to come. And with that said, I'm LD. He's Merlini. We'll take a quick break here. When we return, game number 2. Stay with us.